Good morning, everyone. It's Zioptis. It's technically morning. For me, it's 2:41 in the morning. Uh, I fell asleep at like 10, woke up at 2 just now, so I'm probably not gonna be a, be asleep again tonight. So when I was going through YouTube, I looked through my notifications, and I noticed a comment from someone on my fruit review, Creamy Coconut Dr. Pepper, about how a viewer has been fascinated with Zioptis as a kid, and who had recently called, and the lines are down. They're now an Xfinity line, which is an internet type thing. But this commenter, was wondering about it and if I had any info. I replied to the comment, but I figured I'd make a video for everyone to see, including you. So, shout out. So this is a shout out to Are You in the Mafia? Am I in the what? In the Wolf 7,100. I'm gonna link you in the comment section, and thank you for the questions. But yeah, so this is the origin of Zioptis. It started in the 80s in Detroit, Michigan. My dad, one of my dad's friends had an idea that they would do like this little show, a little like radio show, but you don't get it on the radio. You call in to hear it. You call in a certain number, and they even had a website and everything. Now, on the website, it was like on the website, it was basically just rating haunted houses and stuff like that. Pretty pretty basic 80s to 90s like website. But but the real fun to be had was to call in the number, which is now sadly defunct, discontinued, all that. But you'd call the phone line and you get like a pre recorded message, and it'd be like a conversation, some music, like, and it would be pretty bizarre. My dad first showed me it back in like back when I was like 5 or 6, back before the lines were taken down. So, and like I was born 2005. I I believe the number went. I believe it was canceled by the time of 2013, 2014, somewhere between 2013 to 2015 was when the phone number was taken down. But my dad and his friend were proud of what they were doing. Now, my dad was only like a co-host of it. He he'd kind of like he'd be in like an episode every once in a while. But one day, he and one of his other friends that was involved in Zioptis made one of their own, and it was really cool. He still has it. He actually pulled it out of storage a little while ago, and let me listen to it on my radio, which has one of those like VHS, not VHS, cassette tape holders, players, or whatever. So I got to hear the episode he made of Zioptis. They were proud of what they did. And then one day when my dad was in his 30s, something like that, he met my mom on a dating app that one of his friends persuaded him into going on. So dad and mom went out for a while, got married, moved back to my mom's home state, which was fairly far from Michigan, from Detroit. And then they got back here to the state that I'm in now, and lived with my grandparents for a while. They lived with my grandparents, and then they got out, moved into a trailer that my grandparents were owning. Like, it was pretty close to them. They were neighbors, and they had their own home. Mom got to live next to next to her parents. Dad got to have a wife, and then they adopted me. They adopted me. Now, the funny thing is, well, not funny like ha ha, but funny as in strange, one in a million, is that around the year of 2001, they were thinking of things were going really bad for them. They had engaged, but things weren't going very well, and then all of a sudden 9/11 happened. This drove this rightfully scared the ever living shit out of them. To have a terror attack happen, that's gonna drive people together. So they put aside their issues and resolved a couple things. Came over to my mom's home state, got married, and then adopted me. But considering dad was no longer in Detroit anymore, he couldn't be a part of Zioptis anymore, sadly. And then one day, and my dad at one point, I remember him. I remember being really young. We were eating it, we were living with my grandma and grandpa, non and papa. Um, and they were gone. Mom was working or whatever because she was finding work, and dad was at home that day from his job, and he was basically um he made me breakfast that day and decided to pull out the landline phone back when non and papa still had that, and called the number for the Zioptis Foundation and showed me what it was. He basically gave a brief explanation of it, Jesus, and he called it to show me exactly what it was. And I thought it was really cool that that was all pre-recorded. I never seen anything like it at the time. It was awesome. But then not too long after that, I think it was a few years later. It could have just as easily been a few months, but not long after that, something some part of the way that Zioptis worked broke, and then my dad's friend over in Detroit never really fixed it, and he died recently, about a month ago. And my dad and I went to the funeral. Well, I didn't know any of his friends, so I was only going there as dad's support, his backup. So I stayed at the hotel and let dad go to the funeral. I figured it would be awkward because the only person I would know there was my dad. I wasn't even acquainted with any member of the family Not the brothers, not his friends' friends. The only person I'd have known there was Dad, and I figured it would be awkward if some random kid came along to the funeral. Everyone would be like, "Who the hell is this? Who's this tagging along?" So, like, I decided to stay at the hotel, but I did get to meet one of my dad's other friends after so long. Left a good impression. Yeah, it was it was a bittersweet moment. But by naming my channel Zioptis, by naming my accounts everywhere Zioptis, I'm basically trying to keep the name alive. And in hopes that maybe more people who recognize the name come down and see my continuation of the name. It's not the same whatsoever, it's just your average YouTube channel, but I'm still keeping it alive in a way. And if I can get and if I can reach out, if I can if I can reach just one person at all, that's really all that matters to me. And after years of being on YouTube, I eventually did attract somebody who recognized the Zioptis name. So welcome, and thank you for what, and thanks for checking out my channel.